All right, so this is Bellum. This is the new tactical shooter coming from Karma Cut. They just released a trailer. Everything you need to know about Bellum. It's about 18 minutes long. Just kind of want to go through that and talk about some of the things that the game has to offer and just see. I haven't watched this yet, but I just want to see sort of how things are going to be played out with this game. And it looks like you can pre-order for something special. I don't know. So we're going to see. I don't know.
Marks a major moment for Bellum, and this is our biggest announcement yet. We're revealing some critical team additions, key features, our development roadmap, pre-sale information, and answering some of the most important questions we've seen from the community.
Oh man, look at that. That looks really nice.
Jump in, on behalf of the studio,
look how big that is too.
Thank you all so very much for your support and feedback so far. The response to our first few devlogs has been absolutely incredible, and every member of our team has felt that.
Now that right there kind of reminds me of
We've read every comment,
OHD,
every message,
that all the
really
bots just run in line. So I don't think those are bots.
Let's start with a major update to the team behind Bellum.
Those are just
Operator Drewski and Wendigoon have joined Bellum as partners and investors. These aren't just familiar names; they're passionate fans of the genre who share our vision for immersive tactical gameplay. Drewski is one of the longest standing and most recognized creators in the tactical FPS space.
Yep, that's
a pillar of the community whose deep experience spans everything from hardcore milsim to accessible tactical titles. Wendigoon, a longtime Tarkov enthusiast and co-writer of the Stalker Shadow of the Zone fan film, brings a unique narrative voice and is actively helping shape Bellum's world building and lore. Their experience with hardcore shooters and belief in this project brings fresh energy and momentum to what we're building. We're extremely grateful to have them on board, not just as creators, but as partners and early supporters of Bellum. And speaking of support, there's one question we've heard more than any other.
How can I get involved
and support the project? In response to these passionate requests, we're excited to announce that pre-orders for Bellum are officially live starting today. If you've been itching for this news, grab your edition and support the project now over at playbellum.com.
So you can now go to that specific website. You can pre-order the game, apparently. I was not aware they were going to do that. It's an interesting choice, I guess, but I don't know. I don't know if they're going to release in early access or if the game is going to be a full game at release and they're just offering pre-orders. I don't know. We'll see if they mention when it's going to come out.
But if you're still deciding, here's a full breakdown of what this entails. Until now, Bellum has been powered by friends, family, early investors, and a tight-knit team of developers who share a single goal: stay independent and build the ultimate tactical experience. We've made a conscious decision to limit publisher involvement, especially given how publishing deals have impacted other titles in the past.
I would prefer no publishers, for sure.
Our goal is to retain full creative control, stay true to our vision, and remain accountable to the people who matter most, the players.
Yep.
Naturally, you might be wondering, why not launch a Kickstarter or traditional crowdfunding campaign? The answer is very simple. Bellum will be completed no matter what. Completion of this project doesn't depend on hitting crowdfunding.
Looks pretty nice. The environment. I've liked what I've seen so far when it comes to the environment, and there's some. I hope they talk about the gameplay. I'm sure they probably will here. Will Bellum be on Steam? What factions? Yeah, I think they're. Yeah, okay. All right. So they're going to talk about that. We're also going to check Play Bellum to see some of the pricing here in just a second.
Funded milestones. This isn't a concept. It's a commitment. And honestly, we completely understand the hesitation around supporting early access tactical shooters in today's landscape.
Yeah, 100%,
if you're not ready to jump in just yet, we totally understand that. It's exactly why we chose a pre-order model over traditional crowdfunding.
Yeah, no, I think there's a lot of hesitancy in the tactical shooter sphere because just things don't get completed. Like the Ground Branch, one of the earliest renditions of this indie tactical shooter, it's been in development for 10 plus years now, and it's not a complete game. It's a very small team, obviously, but they also have a publisher. I'm not really sure what Microprose has done for them. They haven't sped up the development at all, but that's one of those concerns, is that, hey, if I buy into this, am I ever going to get a full game? So I completely get that hesitancy, and just people are just worn out by it. I get it. They're burnt out by all that stuff. You can say realism and tactical all you want and get people on board, but then they're going to just be upset because your product is never finished. So, or it takes a long time.
We wanted to make it extremely clear. Bellum's development isn't reliant on your early purchase. Our goal with pre-orders is twofold: to offer early access and exclusive rewards to those eager to support the project, and to reinvest those resources into growing the team and accelerating development.
Okay, so that's a key point too, that the completion of the game isn't like they're not taking money up front just so that they have enough resources to complete the game, right? They are going to complete the game regardless. This is just a way to support it even more. So that's a good distinction to be made.
Now that we've covered the why, let's take a closer look at what early supporters receive and what discounts are available. Bellum's pre-orders are structured across 3 different tiers, with a single limited Founders Edition. All editions come with a flat 20% discount during the pre-order period, which will run until the open beta release currently targeted for the end of this year.
So all of these are going to offer a 20% discount from the final price. So you've got the closed beta access, you've got the open beta access, which is everybody. So anybody that pre-orders will have that. Digital art book and soundtrack, that can be kind of cool. Deluxe edition skins. I wonder if there's going to be weapon skins. That'll be interesting. You got your name in the credits, which is great. Closed alpha, so you'll get even earlier access to it and get to do some testing with there and give some feedback. Supporter edition skins, again, is that going to be weapons? I would imagine so, but we'll see. Founder playtests and Discord, and then founder physical rewards. I don't know what those are going to be. Maybe they'll talk about those here in a second, but that's really cool. I mean, anything physical would be great. Founder, I don't know how much that's going to be. Probably $120. If you're getting some physical, I'm just going to say $120. That's my guess here.
Our standard edition starts at $35.99 USD and provides players with open beta access. This edition.
All right. So $44.99 is the open beta pricing, but if you pre-order it, you will get the $35.99.
Is a simple way to jump in now, show your support for the studio, and take advantage of the pre-order discount.
You can hardly see that there, but it says open beta expected end of year 2025. So that's great news. You'll be able to play this at the end of the year here, it looks like. That's expected, so we'll see.
For those looking for more perks, the deluxe edition comes with our digital art book and soundtrack, access to the closed beta period targeted for fall this year, the deluxe watch and glove skins, and the deluxe weapon skins for the M4A1,
good,
AK-74M, and AKM.
That's one thing with milsims. I think I wish like Tarkov would do this more. I think they could do a really good job of it and just provide a ton of extra stuff. If you could purchase weapon skins in a game like Tarkov, I mean, that would be better than more stash sizes and all that. Like that would be cool. I don't think they do that right now. Someone might correct me if I'm wrong, but even so, weapon skins are awesome.
In addition, anyone who pre-orders the deluxe edition or higher will have their name included in the game credits.
Beautiful.
This brings us to our third option, the supporter edition.
Ooh.
Premium tier, the supporter edition comes with everything from the deluxe edition and even more. The supporter edition grants players access to the closed alpha testing sessions, targeted for this summer. They'll also get access to exclusive supporter weapon skins for the M4A1.
Nice.
AK-74M.
These are good models. I like them.
AKM. MT49. PKM. And RPD. As you might have noticed, all of our weapon skins are designed to be authentic and grounded, and we vow to keep it that way.
That's cool.
Supporter Edition players also get access to the priority server queue, cutting down on server join times and getting into matches faster during peak hours.
So if you don't know what the priority thing is, that's like the VIPs in some servers. You automatically get access in front of other people. It's just a nice little perk to have, especially if you're playing a ton and you don't have a ton of time to play and you want to just hop in for a quick game and not worry about having to queue and wait for a time. It just depends on how big the servers are and how full they are, really. But it is a nice kind of line cut for most people.
And as a final bonus, anyone who pre-orders the Supporter Edition before open beta will have their usernames immortalized in-game on the training map wall. Lastly, for the most dedicated fans and collectors, a limited Founder Edition, an exclusive tier with only 500 copies available. In addition to everything included in previous tiers, Founders will receive 2 standard keys to share with friends, exclusive access to the Founder Discord where they can connect directly with the Bellum team, and a collection of physical rewards, including a serialized Founder coin, faction coins for both the Ranger and Russian PMCs, and 3 unique Velcro patches.
So yeah, I was off. It was $300. I was at 120. So, but that's okay. That's 3 games for $300 plus a ton of like physical things, and bunch of extra stuff. So if you got $300 that you just really, really love Milsims or love Karma Cut himself, I guess you could do that.
One
I don't have
representing
that
the
money.
ASIF Western
I like
Coalition,
Karma, but not
one
that
for the
much.
Satyr PMC faction, and a Bellum morale patch.
Yeah, it's a
One
lot of
quick
physical
note
stuff.
about the Founder Edition physical items. Unfortunately, at this time, we're only able to cover shipping within the US. This is due to the unpredictability of international tariffs, duties, and shipping costs. However, if you're located abroad and are seriously interested in a Founder Edition, please reach out to us via email and we'll do our best to navigate shipping fees with you.
No joke. I was going to, like, shipping fees international are ridiculous. I was going to send a a package to my buddy Martonic over there in Australia, and it would have been for, I don't know, four tubs of gray, so 4 little tubs of energy drink. It was like $120 to send. Like, my goodness, man. That
By now,
island.
you probably have even more questions regarding pre-orders, so let's take a moment to address them. Will Bellum be on Steam? The short answer is not at launch.
Oh.
Bellum will be available exclusively through our website, playbellum.com.
Fascinating.
As a small, independent studio, we've had to make strategic decisions about where and how we launch. Instead,
so that could be a concern when it comes to the player base. I doubt it, just because of the size of, like, Karma Cut's general, I'll call fan base, but supporters and the people that really enjoy those Milsims. I doubt that that's going to be an issue. But longevity wise, that could be huge because, you know, Steam is just where everybody on PC goes. They do take a 30% cut, so I get that. But I don't know. Eventually, it sounds like it's probably going to get there. But initially, that's a surprise to me.
Stepping away from Steam comes with a few key advantages. Most importantly, we're not losing 30% of every sale to platform fees. That savings goes right back into development. More talent, more updates, and deeper investment into the features that matter. We're also able to own more of the player experience, from our custom launcher to direct server integration, giving us more flexibility to innovate and improve based on your feedback.
So Karma, I tell you what, he's got some cojones, because he's just with his first game, he's diving in, he's going all in on the multiplayer, large scale PvP, just no PvE, no single player. He's just going all out, which I respect. That, and then he's not even launching on Steam initially. Hats off to you, Karma. That seems like a risky call, but it could end up being fantastic. I don't know. I hope fantastic, because that would be great. I like when games succeed, and I like Karma. So
launching off platform also lets us explore features like temporary game keys, so you can invite friends to try Bellum with you without needing to purchase up front.
That's a good idea.
And to be clear, launching outside of Steam doesn't rule out a future release on the platform.
Now, that's actually something that would be really cool to see in more games, is like temporary keys. Like, if you want to, there's obviously free weekends, but let's say you want to trial it for like a month, you can just rent a key for like 30 days. I don't know. That could be a cool little addition. Could be a cool addition to, like, I don't know. That way you can get your feet wet, but more games wouldn't be a bad idea to try that with a few more games.
If and when the time is right, we'll make that move. But for now, we're focused on building a strong foundation directly with the players who care most. What factions will be available in open beta? Let's walk you through everything you can expect. The open beta will feature 3 distinct factions: the US Army's Ranger Regiment, the Russian mercenaries known as Satyr, and the guerrilla fighters of Al-Zalam. Each faction brings its own identities, tactics, and arsenal, and while they'll all launch with a curated set of assets, their capabilities will expand as development continues. The Rangers field a specialized arsenal of modern American firepower, and
the hardest thing that's going to do, like, this is sort of what happens in Squad for me anyway, is I hate playing with, like, the insurgent faction because nobody has optics. They're very few. It just drives me nuts. So the hardest part is trying to figure out how to balance all that and, like, bring in experience where nobody's like, oh, great, I'm the heckin' insurgents. I don't want to be the insurgents. So yeah, hopefully that's balanced well. You know, they're going to have their different, I don't know, techniques and approaches and gear and all that stuff. So hopefully that's balanced really well between the factions.
Open beta, they'll support the M4 Block 3, M249 Saw, M240, M320 Grenade Launcher, M72 Law, and Carl Gustav. Their loadouts are designed to support a versatile, multi-role playstyle, from close
Ooh,
quarters
look at that
breaching to
suppression
long-range
mechanic.
engagements. Satyr mercenaries take a more modular, unorthodox approach. Their gear emphasizes flexibility and customization, starting with weapons like the AK-74M, PKM, GM-94 grenade launcher, and the iconic RPG-7. At the far end of the spectrum, the Al-Zalam insurgents embody asymmetrical warfare, armed with a patchwork of rugged weapons, combined with AKMs, RPDs, Type 80 machine guns, and GP-25 grenade launchers. They'll reward ambush tactics, terrain mastery, and hit-and-run maneuverability. What features will be in open beta? The open beta will launch with our primary game mode, Occupation.
This is interesting. This is where you're going to want to pay attention because Occupation is their game mode that doesn't sound like any other game mode that I have played personally. They explain it in another video, but they're going to break it down here. But I love the idea of just something new, so similar but new. So I'm excited to see something like this. Let's see what he says here.
Occupation is built around dynamic, territory-based gameplay where player decisions, not scripted events, drive the outcome. Conventional forces will battle with guerrilla factions in an asymmetric counterinsurgency fight across a zone called the Area of Operation. Victory can be achieved in 3 ways: attriting the enemy's manpower to 0, displacing them from the AO, or generating enough influence through constructed objectives. In Occupation,
that's going to be interesting.
Logistics plays a critical role, and it's built around managing 3 core resources: manpower, which provides respawns, materials to construct outposts and generate influence, and munitions to handle weapon resupply. Teams will start with a limited pool of resources stored at their main base, but to use them, they'll have to be physically transported to forward positions like hideouts and combat outposts. Once
so you'll have to have logi
these
runs.
Resources allow you to build, resupply, and respawn at those objectives.
Which is I think a lot of those mil sims have. They have those logi runs where you have to hop in a car, you have to load items onto a vehicle, and then, you know, take them to wherever you want to go. That way you can utilize those supplies. So it's a pretty boring job for a lot of people, but someone's got to do it in these mil sims, I guess. Not me. I just want to shoot guns, but someone's got to do it if you're a real team player or a good driver.
As vehicles are eventually introduced, supply runs and convoys will become a real tactical challenge, and each faction will have one dedicated logistics squad built into their team structure. Players will need to plan routes, coordinate supply runs, and avoid enemy ambushes, because without logistics, holding the AO will be near impossible. Occupation is structured as a session-based mode, with round durations averaging 1 hour and capped at 2. No 2 matches will play the same, as players shape the mission in real time through their choices and coordination. For a full breakdown in Occupation, check out our previous devlog, Dialing in the Details. All of this takes place on our first official map, Highlands, a 4x4 kilometer terrain featuring rolling hills, choke points, clustered villages, and dense towns. This map is designed to support both long-range sustained engagements and intense close-quarters combat, giving every weapon a distinct role in the fight. But Bellum's depth doesn't stop at terrain or objectives.
That's huge.
Let's talk about the systems, because that's where the experience truly comes to life. The open beta includes an advanced medical system, built for tactical gameplay. Wounds vary in severity and location, limbs, torso, or head, and each injury demands the right treatment. Players will triage their teammates using bandages, tourniquets, blood bags, and combat use medications, all while managing conditions like heavy bleeding, incapacitation, and unconsciousness. Under fire, medical care becomes a high-stakes, hands-on skill, not a simple point-and-click adventure.
Which is great. I like that. I like that idea of making it a little bit more specific. Hopefully, they've got some hotkeys, some quick buttons for some of that stuff. But you know, it sounds a lot like Gray Zone Warfare's general healing mechanics and all that.
Bellum also features body armor simulation. Material type, impact angle, and kinetic energy all factor into whether a shot stops cold or punches through.
Ooh.
Our custom ballistics and fragmentation system adds another layer of realism, unlike standard hit scan models. Bullets lose velocity over distance, penetrate based on caliber and material, ricochet depending on the angle, and are pushed off course by wind at longer ranges.
Look at that.
Explosives generate true-to-life fragmentation. Each blast is different.
Oh, this is cool too. Look at that. That's really cool. You can actually, I mean, technically you could avoid it, but it's going to be better when you've got like cover close to you and everything like that. It's going to bounce off that and you'll be, I don't know. It'll be nice. It's not just it blows up in a room and you get hit. It's going to hit you in certain body parts, and you're really going to have to figure out how you're going to address that.
or small piece of cover can be the difference between surviving or taking a hit.
Yep,
Communication is
like
a cornerstone of Bellum's gameplay. Players will communicate through local proximity chat, squad channels, and platoon-wide comms, each serving a tactical purpose.
Just like squad,
Whether you're coordinating a breach, calling for medical aid,
That's a cool
or directing
thing.
a multi-squad maneuver, clarity and timing matter. What you say and who hears it can change the momentum of a fight. For those who are operating medium machine guns and rocket launchers, Bellum delivers true crew-served weapon mechanics. From belt linking and barrel changes to assistant gunner reloads, these systems are built to be used as intended, with a team. The command structure is just
That's really cool. You saw him kind of clip that that extra ammo onto there. That's a really cool feature that I don't think any other game does. But you are going to have to stay with your machine gunners then, because someone's going to have to click that on there.
Detailed and intentional. Platoon leaders, squad leaders, and team leaders have access to real-time tools for assigning objectives, marking targets, and managing the flow of battle. Leadership isn't just symbolic, it carries real tactical weight, and good leaders can shift the momentum of an entire engagement. To support this, we've built standardized systems into Bellum's core design. Every faction follows a consistent squad structure, with clearly defined roles and responsibilities. This creates a shared language across teams and factions, reducing friction and making coordination more intuitive, even with players you've never met. Whether you're stepping into a fire team or leading a full platoon, these structures are designed to empower teamwork, support communication, and make coordinated play feel second nature. And finally, Bellum's open beta will introduce the first wave of electronic warfare tools, starting with drones.
Oh, wait.
These assets...
Okay, this is really cool if that's the case. Each of these, so each of these kind of propellers have their own like RPMs and stuff like that. If you damage one, I wonder if it just goes down. I wonder if that's a simple way to manage that. That looks kind of cool.
Can scout enemy positions, provide overwatch for advancing squads, or communicate synchronized assaults. As development continues, E-War will evolve into a fully fledged tactical layer, reshaping how battles are fought. And this is just the beginning. The open beta lays the foundation, but with your feedback and support, Bellum will continue to evolve into something far greater. We've received a ton of questions about what's coming next, so we put together a short-term roadmap to help give you a clearer picture. Keep in mind that this roadmap doesn't include smaller updates, patches, or other content we'll drop along the way.
All right, the summer, we've got launchers. This is 2025. Founders Playtest is going to be right around now, seems like. I wonder if that's in the description. The closed alpha supporter between summer going into fall. So around August. Construction is going to be added. EWAR update, don't know what that is. Closed beta deluxe is shortly after fall, going into winter, I guess, between those two. And the standard open beta. So once you have this, if you bought the standard, you'll be able to play right here. If you buy the supporter, you'll have access right here. I believe the supporter is actually the $100. Maybe it's $89. Not 100% sure. I forget.
We're aiming to hit 5 major milestones over the next year, each building on the last. Milestone 1, Heavy Firepower. We're introducing shoulder-fired systems and underbarrel grenade launchers with multiple ammo types, including frag, flechette, HE, and thermobaric. Naturally, you can expect cruiser functionality out of the gate with systems like the RPG-7 and Carl Gustav. Next, we'll turn to construction, allowing squads to dig in, reinforce cops and hideouts, and reshape the battlefield. This system also lays the groundwork for deeper logistical mechanics that will be expanded over time. From there, we're enhancing our E-War systems. Expect more BTAC functionality, the introduction of drone platforms, and the first wave of electronic countermeasures, all designed to expand the tactical playing field.
So what's going to be interesting, especially the future of warfare itself is that the drones. If you've watched that Ukrainian conflict, drones are very crucial, beneficial, and very common now. So the future of warfare is going to look very, very interesting when it comes to how different things engage, because they're cheap to make, super cheap to make. You can put stuff on them. Probably a little scary because they can go really fast too, and there's not much you can do about them. It doesn't matter how good of a shot you are with your shotgun. If there's 10 of them, you can maybe hit 4, and then you're toast. So we'll see.
Following E-War, we'll focus on command systems. This includes formalizing platoon leadership roles, enabling off-map support like airstrikes, and implementing key enabler positions such as JTACs and forward observers. By this stage, Bellum have a really solid infantry foundation, paving the way for ground vehicles as maps grow in scale and complexity. The first wave of vehicles rolls in with MRAPs, technicals, and support trucks, engineered to keep your team moving, building, and fighting across the battlefield. On that note, let's shift gears and dive into some of the most common questions we've received about gameplay design in Bellum. How will Bellum encourage teamwork? This is one of the most important questions we've seen come up.
Because here's the problem. You can say a game needs teamwork and that everybody wants to kind of hop into a game with teamwork. Like even Battlefield, you heard this a lot in the early days of 2042. They're like, where's the teamwork? Where's the squad play? That's a hard thing to do if you are trying to have a large player base, because some people just want to hop in. And you see this with games like Hell Let Loose, and even Squad, those new lobbies and stuff. People don't want to communicate. People don't really want to utilize teamwork. They just want to play and they want to shoot. And so to bring people into that system, into a game and be like, hey, you have to utilize teamwork, otherwise you're going to fail badly. It can be difficult. It can put a lot of people off because then they'll it's difficult to play the game casually, and some people just want to, play the game casually. So we'll see. We'll see how the teamwork works out in this.
We're glad that you asked. For those who know the genre, the true appeal of platoon scale gameplay lies in the camaraderie and teamwork it demands of players. Only a handful of games truly capture the magic of players communicating and coordinating on the battlefield. Bellum is purpose-built to capture and amplify that experience, and it all rests on 3 foundational principles. The first principle is that information dictates the tempo of combat and directly drives how players interact as a team. It sets the pace of movement, builds trust in leadership, and shapes the decisions a squad makes under fire. In Bellum, the information available to each player is intentionally limited, based on their role and squad. While some macro team data is still accessible to all players, it's far less comprehensive than in other games. You won't see every single friendly marker on your map, and you'll have to work to determine the position of hostile elements. Gathering intel from downed enemies is a key mechanic in Occupation. Players will need to search their kills to reveal hidden objectives and cut through the fog of war.
Oh, that's cool.
Each match forces
That's kind of cool. Did you hear that? I'm going to go back to that because that's really cool. Listen to how he says it's just not a mechanic that I've heard of in like a large-scale PvP game.
Of hostile elements. Gathering intel from downed enemies is a key mechanic in Occupation. Players will need to search their kills to reveal hidden objectives and cut through the fog of war.
Which is awesome. I don't exactly know how they're going to gather it from dead people, but that's a really cool mechanic that you have to go confirm your kill and gather intel from there to complete an objective or to move on to a next objective. I think that's an awesome thing.
Each match forces players to navigate uncertainty, adapt on the fly, and make decisions without perfect information on enemy starting positions or objectives. Players are expected to stay grounded in their squad's reality, what they see, hear, and feel on the ground. You'll need to stay alert, communicate locally, and build situational awareness from the ground up.
I'm assuming since they keep shooting people on the ground, you're able to like be knocked out like you can in Arma. I'm assuming that that's one of the things that happens, or in a coma, I guess, like Ghost Warfare as well. I think they're probably gonna just double tap those players so that they can't get back up. So very, very interesting.
Instead of relying on an all-knowing map every few seconds. And when we talk about information, we don't just mean map awareness. Predictable known outcomes, like perfectly timed reloads, weapons that never malfunction, or damage values that players can min-max, tend to create a more arcade-like experience. It's the ambiguity of outcome that drives real-world tactics and decision-making. And that uncertainty, by design, becomes a key driver of teamwork, because in unknown situations, having teammates at your side doesn't just help, it can be the difference between life and death. The second principle is that if you want players to engage in teamwork, coordination must be streamlined and rewarding.
Yep, that's a big thing.
The reality is, players will naturally take the path of least resistance.
Yep.
If lone wolfing or min-maxing individual performance is the most efficient option, many will default to it, even in a team-based game.
Which again, that's sort of what I was talking about. If you want a lot of people to play, you're gonna have a lot of people that are just like, I want to lone wolf it. I just want to go out and shoot people. But that's obviously not going to be the most effective thing. You're not gonna really win a whole lot of games that way, and it's not the point of the game. So just have it streamlined. We'll see what he says here, but have it streamlined like that is kind of crucial to a game's success.
That's why Bellum makes teamwork a functional necessity through core systems like buddy medical mechanics and crucive weapon operation. Players operate at peak effectiveness when they work together. But requiring teamwork on its own isn't enough. If cooperation feels forced or repetitive, it becomes a chore. Our challenge as developers is to make team-based interaction not just necessary, but deeply satisfying.
Yeah, so if you make it too tedious, then everyone's going to be like, this is a boring game. Why do I want to play this game? But if you make it too easy, then people are just not going to do team play, right? So it is a good balance. It's an interesting spot to be in.
That starts with giving players the tools and systems they need to operate as a cohesive unit. It's also why Bellum's faction structure and role design are deliberately standardized. When you join a session, you should instantly understand your role, know who you need to coordinate with, and see how you fit into the larger mission, every round, every time. The third and final principle guiding Bellum's design is that ultimately, it's our duty as a studio to define and uphold the standard of gameplay. We're not just focused on bringing new players into Bellum, we're committed to ensuring they have the knowledge and support needed to thrive. That means working with veteran communities and creators, but also developing our own suite of informative content, in-depth tutorials, and a proper onboarding pipeline to help new players understand their roles and responsibilities.
Yep.
In Bellum, we want to foster a shared understanding of how the game is meant to be played, so that every session feels cohesive and rewarding. As an indie studio, building out this infrastructure will take time, but it's a core part of our long-term vision. We're confident that our collective experience positions us to shape the gameplay style we envision, but reaching that goal means aligning a wide range of complex systems and design principles. Will there be destruction? In the short term, environmental interaction will be limited, primarily for performance reasons.
Yeah.
We recognize the value of features like terrain deformation, destructible structures, and reactive environments, but they come with a significant technical overhead that could impact stability and scalability.
Yeah, I wondered how that was going to be.
Our priority is building out the core gameplay systems that offer the most meaningful impact. Looking ahead, we absolutely want to expand on environmental interaction as resources allow, and without compromising performance or player experience.
Yeah, because, like in this, if you're hunkered down in this, this is technically concrete, a concrete house, and nothing's getting through the walls, you just feel safe inside this box, when in reality it's kind of a death box. All it takes is one thing to drop down on it and you're toast, right? Or someone to take out some support areas and just you're done for, right? So I think that would be a very fun mechanic and also promote a little bit more movement. However, again, going back to this, if they do too much or try to do too much, not only does performance take a hit, but also gameplay experience, because you're like, this is pointless. Why am I even doing this? Because people are just blowing up the buildings I'm in and I'm dying because it's crushing me. So if you make it too easy or too simple, then you're going to have that issue. But that's probably pretty far down the line.
And that brings us to the end of today's major deep dive. We know this was a lot to take in, and we genuinely appreciate you staying with us. Our hope is that you have a better understanding of what we're building, how we're building it, and why. If what you've seen today resonates with you and you want to be part of this journey, head over to playbellum.com, secure your pre-order, and support our vision. Every purchase directly supports the team, accelerates development, and helps us stay independent. Still have questions? You're not alone. There were a ton of great discussions happening in our Discord. And while we couldn't answer everything here, we've updated our FAQ at discord.gg/playbellum. We'd love to have you join the conversation there, but if you're not ready to commit just yet, we totally understand. We'll earn your trust by building a game that speaks for itself.
Awesome.
But that's all for now. Thanks again for watching. Stay safe, stay sharp, and we'll see you in the next video.
All right, I'm going to end the stream here, but I will link all that down below. When I make a video of this, I'll link all this down below, the Discord and everything like that, if you want to support the game. Personally, the game looked great. I think it's in a great setting. It's in like Africa, which there's not a lot of games that have large scale Africa as their setting. So I think that'll be cool. I think it'll be really exciting for players to get their hands on. We'll see how the player base kind of turns up. They just kind of have to show up. The community just has to show up if this game is going to succeed, and hopefully it's a great experience. Hopefully it's not something that people will hop in for a little bit. I know Squad keeps pretty steady numbers, I think. Around, last I checked, like 15,000, maybe even more than that. But hopefully this game can do the same thing, though we'll just have to see. I mean, it's not going to be on Steam. We can't monitor with Steam charts, but I guess you'll be able to look at like the server numbers and stuff like that. So that's all for this one. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed any of this stream or this video, please hit that like button. If you didn't, hit that dislike button. Subscribe if you want more content like this, my Tactic Gamer Live. And then also subscribe to my other channel, Tactic Gamer, because that's where I do like more structured pieces, I guess. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great rest of your day.